Genius Kids. Cultivating love for learning.
Chapter 8: Wind, Storms and Cyclones. Knowledge acquisition. The flow of negatively charged electrons through a conductor generates electric current. The flow of electrons is from negative to positive terminal, and that of current is in the opposite direction. An electric circuit is combination of electricity S. Discussion. Susie: oh my God, where am I trapped today? Jack: come on. Susie, let's go. Susie, Jack: have you realized today the danger of thunderstorm? Jack: thunder what? If I am not wrong, it was raining. Susie: oh. Jack: have not you read storms? Jack: no. Susie: I have told you so many times to be attentive in classroom. Jack: I have got the umbrella, escorted you to home, then also you are fighting with me now. Susie: okay. Okay. I am sorry. Let's read up a chapter together so that we could know. A storm, a cyclone and tornado. Jack: yes. Ma'am, and why not? I don't want to be scolded again. Wind. Definition. Moving air is wind. Wind has a definite direction. Causative factor behind air movement or wind formation. Winds are formed basically due to earth heating. As the earth gets heated up, hot air being lighter moves up, whereas the cold air being denser comes in to fill the space vacated by hotter air. The air movement thus gives rise to wind. This effect is further pronounced by 1. Temperature difference between equator and poles. Earth is a round sphere with an angle of inclination of approximately 23.5 degrees. As a result of which equator is more closer to the sun, that gets heated up more as compared to the poles. So, high pressure and low temperature is set up at the poles, and low pressure and high temperature at the equator. Thus, wind blows from poles towards the equator. However, wind flow is also affected by Earth's rotation I in the west to east direction. This influence results in airflow in northern region towards southwest direction and in southern region towards northwest direction. 2. Temperature difference between land and water. Land gets heated up faster as compared to water. In summers, land gets heated up, as a result of which hot air being lighter rises up. This vacated space is filled by cold sea breeze that flows from sea towards the land. This wind cycle is known as monsoon. Monsoon causes heavy rains all over India. In winters, the reverse occurs. The air above the sea or ocean becomes warmer, thus rises up, generating a low pressure zone. This vacated space is filled by cold air from northeastern states, or the air flows from land to the ocean. This air carries the moisture along and thus causes heavy rainfall in Tamil Nadu or in southern hemisphere. This wind cycle is called winter monsoon. Critical thinking. The pressure or atmospheric pressure is the pressure on the Earth's surface due to the surrounding air or atmosphere. The word monsoon is derived from an Arabic word called mawsam. Monsoon is seasonal wind which blows from Indian Ocean to Indian subcontinent or land during summers and in the vice versa direction during winter season. Global wind patterns. The region of Earth receiving direct sun rays is equator. Here, air is heated and it rises, leaving low pressure areas behind. Moving to about 30 degrees north and south of the equator, the cool air begins to sink. Most of this cooling sinking air moves back to equator and the rest flows towards the poles. The air movements towards the equator are called trade winds. These winds are warm and steady and blow almost continuously. Between 30 degrees and 60 degrees latitude, the winds that move towards the pole appear with curve to the east. These winds are called prevailing westerlies, since they originate from west. Similarly, the winds originating from the poles are called polar easterlies. Critical thinking. Trade winds were discovered by Christopher Columbus in 1492. These winds helped him to sail from Canary Islands to the Bahamas, a distance of 5,400 miles, in 36 days. Some properties of air. 1. It has already been mentioned in the last section that hot air rises up and is lighter. This fact is due to the fact that particles in the hot air are quite far away from each other, and thus hot air is less dense or lighter. 2. Hot air expands, as students will or would have proved it by Activity 1. With reference to this fact, we can say that in an expanded air, particles are far away from each other, so pressure that can be exerted by them would automatically be less. 3. Speedy winds have less pressure. As you have always seen that a lighter weight person can run faster as compared to heavier one, so is with air or wind. Lighter wind can move faster. Thunderstorm. Definition. It is a kind of storm with both thunder and lightning. It is accompanied by high-speed wind and heavy rainfall. Formation of a thunderstorm. Air current arises in the clouds. Hot air rises up. This leads to the condensation of water vapor. Heat energy released due to condensation further leads to movement of air with high speed. Thunderstorm. Definition. It is a kind of storm with both thunder and lightning. It is accompanied by high-speed wind and heavy rainfall. Formation of a thunderstorm. Air current arises in the clouds. Hot air rises up. This leads to the condensation of water vapor. Heat energy released due to condensation further leads to movement of air with high speed. As a result of which water drops and ice particles collapse with each other, generating negative charge. This charge leads to generation of light. Lightning heats the surrounding air at a temperature of about 30,000 degrees Celsius, which further heats the air and makes it lighter, thus increasing its speed. Speedy wind thus generates a crash or a thunder. Outcomes. Thunderstorm can uproot a tree, can damage crops and animals, and can even kill human beings. Sometimes electric poles get disrupted by lightning of a thunderstorm. Cyclone. Definition. It is a kind of windstorm in which wind flows at a speed of 300 km per hour in a circular motion. It can cover the area of approximately 300 km across, attaining the height of 9 km. It results from a combination of several small thunderstorms. Formation of cyclone. Warm lighter air moves up, generating low pressure area. Cooler air moves towards the center of this area, center of the storm, to fill the space vacated by warmer air. This process takes place several times. Now, since we know that Earth rotates in circular motion, so in a cyclone, air, instead of moving towards the center, starts circulating around at a very high speed. This generates a spinning cyclone. Strong wind current would further add on and move the cyclone forward. The center of the storm is called eye. Different names of a cyclone. Country. Cyclone name: USA, hurricanes, China, typhoons, Japan, typhoons, Philippines, typhoons, India, tropical cyclones. Outcome. Outcome is devastating that can result in a huge loss of life and property. Tornadoes. Definition. These are funnel-shaped clouds that move from the sky to the ground. 1. Formation of a tornado. Rising hot air plus cold air tornado. Tornado accompanied by wind. Tornado has a low pressure region in the middle, as a result of which air gets sucked out and high speed wind starts spiral movement around the central column. Width of a tornado 75 to 99 kilometers. Speed of a tornado 75 to 210 kilometers per hour. Tornadoes are common in USA and are rarely seen in a country like India. Suzy, Jack. Hey, Suji, don't you worry, I have learnt about some safety measures that we and our government should take to protect us from these natural calamities. What can be done to deal with cyclones, tornadoes and storms? Development of cyclone shelters in cyclone-prone areas like east and west coastlines of India. Development of an informative system to issue an early warning. Stock of emergency medicines, food, clothes, etc. should be available. In conditions of danger, try and stay inside your homes. Make minimum use of electric appliances, as they can be dangerous. For example, these should be switched off in the situation of a thunderstorm. Radar technology usage to generate a cyclone alert 48 hours earlier. In case of tornado, try and use tornado shelter or simply lower down your knees, protecting your head and neck with arms. Continuous review. Moving air is called as wind. It has a definite direction. Wind formation is affected by temperature difference between equator and poles and temperature difference between land and water. Hot and speedy air have less pressure. Natural calamities associated with wind include thunderstorm, cyclones, and tornadoes. Winds get their name from the direction from which they originate.
Like, share and subscribe.